Hi, my name's Rochelle, and I am doing the introspective reflection video for an advanced airway management skill. There's going to be 4 questions. Number 1, how did you prepare for this process? I just studied the dope mnemonic and went over the practice scenarios that were provided for us in class and made sure I could take each letter and recognize the signs of each one and then the treatment plans. And then which ones were associated with the high and the low volume for the alarm. How did this peer-to-peer evaluation process benefit you? I really enjoy peer-to-peer. It's less nerve-wracking. It takes the anxiety out of it. My peers tend to understand me more. I understand how they're learning a little more. And so it's just easier to ask them questions and have them explain it after the instructor has. And then when they evaluate you, it's not as scary because they know where you're coming from. 3, list 3 challenges or potential barriers you identify in the process that can potentially be improved upon. My first one and the biggest one that was a problem during my testing was my partner and I weren't super familiar with the vent itself, like the machine, and then the tubing that goes into the patient, like the suction and the tubes that connect to the ET tube. And so finding things that were wrong with that and being able to quickly identify it was really hard because I don't know what it looks like regularly, so to be like, oh yeah, that's wrong, is hard. And I noticed that other people that I helped test struggled with the same thing. So in lab, I think it would be very beneficial to really go over the vent itself, even though we're not using it, not turning it on, and show us the setup for that. And they might have, but maybe just reinforce that of this is what it looks like and this is not. And these tubes go here, and the little end of the suction tube should go in its little home in the chamber, and little details like that I think would really help with testing. 2 was reassess. Reassess. I thought I was reassessing enough, and I wasn't. It seemed to be this intervention, and then you do an intervention, you reassess, and then you do another reassessment to figure out what the next problem is, and you do an intervention, then you reassess. And that's nothing to be improved upon, except for me. That was not an instructor thing. And then the last one, 3 challenges, was we had the vent, the reassess. I think just identifying what the problem is and not freaking out. I don't really feel like I did that, but that could be a challenge, is getting overwhelmed in the room, especially when it's a real patient and alarms are going off and families are freaking out, and just taking a step back, ABCs, what do I hear, just literally assess the whole patient, eventually figure it out instead of just trying to know right off the bat. 4, what did you learn from your peers that you had not considered? Really, what stood out for me was that chest x-ray after the tube is manipulated, even if a doctor manipulated it. Even though it's back where it should be, just don't trust that it's inside that it's accurate, even though it's accurate at the lip, and you still should confirm placement with that chest x-ray, which is what is definitive. And always look at signs and symptoms of your patient and the machine and take it in as a picture instead of just being oh, it's at the lip, the vent settings are fine. So that's what I learned from my partner today and my peers watching them go through the process. And something else is follow and trace your tubes and touch equipment, because sometimes when you look at equipment, you can't always tell that something's wrong with it, but then you physically touch it and then you're oh, the oxygen tree fell off the wall. It looked plugged in. Get hands-on, question everything, and always get that definitive confirmation. It was great today. Enjoyed the different technique to teaching us with having to figure out what the problem was for skill. Thanks.